Hello, I hope you're well. I'm going to make a quick video, make a couple of points, and I'll try and keep it as short as possible. So this video is about my prediction on Irish homelessness and how it's going to explode, probably from next year. Really explode. At the moment, we have about 14,000. The statistics say we have about 14,000 Irish homeless. I think we have a lot more than that actually. Just with the hidden homeless, there's a lot of people that are, don't have a home but are able to stay in their relatives' houses or stay in friends' houses. And I think that from next year we're going to see a massive explosion of Irish homeless. That's going to jump, from 14,000 up. It'll get significantly higher from next year onwards. And the reason why I think that's going to happen is because the way the situation is going, with the housing, not enough housing, bringing more and more, immigrants into the country and giving them priority over Irish people. Less and less jobs because the tourism sector has been decimated and things like that. So there'll be less and less money, less and less less houses, less for Irish people, and those young Irish people, especially young Irish males that are, probably school leaving age now, and maybe around that age, young adults, they're going to really suffer the brunt of it over the next few years, because there's going to be nowhere for them to go, and those kind of jobs that young people would normally traditionally have gotten in the in restaurants and tourism sector, that kind of stuff, and bars, nightclubs, they're all going to go. They're going to be, our economy is going to start failing, and the reason why that's going to happen, our economy is going to fail, is because I think that there's going to be a worldwide financial crash. I think it'll be orchestrated. I think a large part of it has to do with Trump. I think that Trump, there was an assassination attempt on his life last week, and that the reason why that was done, I think, by the military-industrial complex in America. That's a massive, massive industry. The last time Trump was in power, there were no wars. This is the one thing the mainstream media never mentions about him. He's not a warmonger. He's actually the most peaceful president we've had, U.S. president, certainly in my lifetime. There were no wars, and so there were no profits for those massive, for that military industrial complex. So they want him out. There's money to be made there, and uh, you know Trump isn't a warmonger, so he can't be bought in that way. So they want him out. So they've tried everything, and the last ditch was an assassination attempt. There probably will be more, maybe, but it looks like he's going to get in if he survives. Hopefully he'll get it back in. But what happens is, with Trump is, once he gets in, if he does survive and he gets elected as a president of the U.S. again, I think that they'll crash the global financial system. They'll crash it, because these people are, they want to control the world, and a large part they do control large parts of the world, especially the financial system, the global financial system. So they want to control the world. So I think when Trump gets in, we're going to see a major global financial, depression. I think an orchestrated one. And I think that will affect, our government will continue its policies. It'll keep getting EU money, so it'll continue its policies of, bringing in migrants, putting them up, and just decimating our tourist industry, giving away our houses, not building enough houses for Irish people, but then giving the ones away to immigrants. So I think that's going to lead to a massive, homelessness crisis in Ireland. And I mean massive. I mean, at the moment it's bad, but I mean it's going to explode. It'll be huge. Okay. Now, so that's my prediction, and I think that's going to start next year. As soon as that financial crash comes, which will be soon after Trump gets into office, or if not even beforehand, but soon, certainly soon after. Um, but yeah, but just about Trump, uh, I just said this is just a funny thing I just saw the other day. It's not funny; it's terrible, but this is the state of, the world we live in. Trump, the assassination attempt. As soon as that happened, he went up in the polls. Like and then a few days later, I see an article in one of our, tabloid newspapers here in Ireland about Varadkar, how there was an assassination, a plot to kill him, in 2022. And I thought to myself, a far right plot to kill Varadkar. And I thought to myself, that's a very interesting story. That's big news. Wow, the far right are trying to kill, Varadkar. I picked it up, I started reading the article, and I was like, this is absolute BS. That, this guy is, this is there was no, they had one source, okay? The guards wouldn't comment on it. There's no investigation. There were no arrests, okay? So it's like it seems to me like that what really happened there was Varadkar or somebody in his inner circle saw what happened to Trump going up in the polls after the assassination attempt and decided to drop this story from a source into the into the tabloid newspapers and see would they pick it up, and one of them picked it up and ran with it. And I think it's absolute BS. I think it's just a publicity stunt by Varadkar trying to get his get his name up in the polls. And then I'm hearing other things about other politicians having saying that they're being threatened and there's bomb scares and all this stuff. I don't know if that's true anymore. I tend not to believe it. I think that if somebody was really serious about killing the politicians, they wouldn't threaten them. You know what I mean? Serious people wouldn't make the threat. They would just go ahead and do it. So I think if it's it seems to me like it's BS, and then they can further demonize the far right, or and clamp down on people's liberties and free speech and stuff like that. So that's what it seems to me to be. And the other thing about the far right is like there is no far right in Ireland, but the government is quickly going to create a far right. And I'm going to tell you now that when the homelessness crisis, when it explodes, and all those young men that have no homes, have, you know what I mean, they won't have any. There'll be no hope for them, no home, no hope for the future, no hope of a family, no hope of a stable life. They're going to turn to genuinely extreme political or violence. You know what I mean? They're going to be the far right, and the government will have created it. There is no far right at the moment, but there will be if the government keeps up with its policies, and it will create it itself. And it will, it only takes like really, a small group of committed, dangerous men to cause havoc, to overthrow a government. I mean, and they probably won't be threatening them. They'll be so frustrated, so hopeless. They'll just, there won't be any warnings. But anyway, that's my prediction. That there's going to be major homelessness crisis. You are going to see a rise of violence, but it will be a direct consequence of the government. Now, one more thing I just want to say. I just want to keep this as short as possible. I just want to congratulate the people in Coolock for their stand against the plantation centre that they tried to government tried to put up there. The people in Coolock have been protesting there for months, peacefully, doing everything right. The government refused, just didn't listen to them. Tried to move those men in, all men, no women and children, all men into that place, into that old paint factory overnight, and then that's when the protest got violent. It wasn't violent before that. So. And then I heard that they've started to burn down the building, which I think is legitimate and the right thing to do. If the government won't listen to you and you're protesting peacefully for months and they're going to move them in anyway, it's a legitimate thing to do is to burn down that building. In fact, it's the safest and it's the right thing to do. And there is civil disobedience is it's sometimes it's, even though it looks, it's the correct thing to do. Okay, so. And just I want to say one more thing about all those centres, that like a centre like that in Coolock. If that was women and children, there would be no protests. If it was all women and children, no protests. There would be nobody burning down buildings. Nobody would be arguing, or throwing stones at the guards or the raid squad. There'd be nothing like that. If it was all women and children, it's military-aged men. You're putting men in there, and a lot of these men are criminals. If you just go and ask the Nigerian ambassador, a Nigerian foreign minister, and the Nigerian ambassador to Ireland, Nigerians are coming over here. Nigerian criminals are coming over here, and claiming asylum, and by their own ministers, government ministers are saying it. Okay, and we're giving them asylum. So if it's happening in Nigeria, it's happening from other countries too. Criminals are coming over here, military-aged men, military men. I believe that there are officers and other military officers of foreign armies are coming over here pretending to be refugees, getting asylum, and they're just staking the place out. Ireland is ripe to be conquered at the moment, and our government are facilitating it. So any resistance to this is legitimate. Yeah, that's all I have to say. And look, God bless.